Zuri wiped the powder from her cheek and threw the cloth onto the floor. This
This is
lipstick makes
completely
me look like an
unacceptable.
old woman, she said, and my eyes are not bright enough for the wife of a wealthy man. Her two bridesmaids laughed while looking at Amara as if she were worthless. Amara quietly adjusted the makeup again, but Zuri continued finding fault. A poor woman like you has probably never seen a grand wedding, Zuri mocked. Do not compare your tired face to mine. Amara swallowed her pain and continued working. She had learned that some customers wanted beauty on their faces while refusing to carry kindness in their hearts. While arranging the jewelry, a servant entered carrying a leather bracelet meant for the groom. It had three black wooden beads. Amara froze. She had made that exact bracelet for her husband, Kofi, on their fifth wedding anniversary. Kofi had told her that he was traveling to a distant village to sell animal skins. He had promised to return the following week. Amara asked the servant, "Whose bracelet is that?" "It belongs to the groom," the servant replied. "Mr. Kofi, a wealthy merchant from the northern village." Amara's heart began pounding. Many men were named Kofi, she told herself, but no other man wore the bracelet she had made with her own hands. When Amara heard the name Kofi, the makeup brush slipped from her fingers. The brush landed on Zuri's dress, leaving a small mark of powder. Zuri screamed, "You are not only poor, but also foolish. Get out of my room." Amara struggled to steady her voice. "Does the groom have a small dark mark beneath his left eye?" Zuri laughed cruelly. "A poor woman like you has no right to ask about my husband's face. Perhaps you are dreaming of stealing a rich man." Her bridesmaids laughed again. Amara said nothing. Yet fear had already entered her heart. The bracelet, the name, and the mark beneath the eye could not all be accidents. Zuri ordered a servant to find another makeup artist immediately. "This woman will bring bad luck to my marriage," she declared. One bridesmaid grabbed Amara's makeup box and threw it toward the door. Brushes, powder, beads, and bottles scattered across the floor. Amara knelt to collect them while tears gathered in her eyes. Before she left, she heard Zuri say, "Today I will become the happiest woman alive. That poor makeup artist can return to her miserable husband." Amara held the box against her chest and walked out. She had entered the house worried about earning enough money for medicine. She left wondering whether her entire marriage had been built on a lie. As Amara walked along the corridor, she heard a man speaking behind a curtain. She knew that voice better than any other voice in the world. It was the voice that called her my beloved wife every evening. The man was telling the wedding organizer that the ceremony must finish before sunset. Amara stopped breathing. Through a small opening in the curtain, she saw Kofi wearing a white wedding robe and a red ceremonial crown. On his wrist was the bracelet she had made. Kofi had not traveled to sell animal skins. He had come to marry another woman. Then he turned and saw Amara watching him. His face became pale like cold ashes. For one long moment, husband and wife stared at each other. Kofi moved as if he wanted to approach her, but elders and wedding attendants surrounded him. Amara did not scream. She did not cry or confront him. She only looked at him with quiet, wounded eyes. That silence frightened Kofi more than anger would have. Amara turned and walked away. Kofi told himself that she would remain silent. He had often threatened her, saying that if she ever embarrassed him publicly, she would lose the house and everything they owned. He believed fear had made her weak. He did not understand that silence is not always surrender. Sometimes it is the moment before truth begins to speak. Amara walked to an ancient baobab tree at the edge of the village. Grandmother Nala, a wise old woman, sat beneath it weaving baskets. When she saw Amara's pale face, she did not ask questions immediately. She gave her a bowl of cool water and waited. At last, Amara told her everything: Kofi's journey, the secret wedding, Aunt Zuri's cruel insults. Grandmother Nala listened carefully. Do not enter a fire while covering yourself with dry leaves, she said. The betrayer wants you to scream so that he can call you a mad woman. We must allow the truth to speak for itself. Amara wiped her tears. How can truth speak when powerful people refuse to hear it? Grandmother. Nala reminded Amara of an old marriage law in Oluma. Before a man could marry, he had to stand before the ancestors' drum and swear that he had no living wife. If he told the truth, the drum would sound when struck. If he lied, the drum would remain silent. The younger generation had begun ignoring the tradition. Kofi had paid the wedding organizer to remove the oath from the ceremony. If the ancestor's drum is brought to the village square, he cannot hide, Grandmother Nala said. How do we bring it there? Amara asked. You must find Baba Oke, the keeper of the drum. He lives beside the sacred forest. Tell him everything. Baba Oke lived in a small hut near the sacred forest. He had a white beard and eyes as sharp as an eagle's. When Amara explained the situation, he sighed deeply. Kofi came to me, Baba Oke said. He asked me not to bring the drum. He claimed the bride wanted a modern ceremony. Baba Oke had refused, but the wedding organizer had locked the drum inside the village storehouse. Amara showed him her wedding ring and the sacred thread Kofi had tied around her wrist during their marriage ceremony. Baba Oke stood up. A lie may run fast, he said, but truth has longer legs. We will bring the drum before the sun reaches the top of the palm trees. Scene 11. The new makeup artist. Back in the bride's room, a young makeup artist named Leila arrived. Zuri ordered her to remove everything Amara had done. Leila was nervous and tried her best, but the new powder was too pale for Zuri's skin. Her face looked like a mask. Zuri became angry again. Are all makeup artists in this village blind? She shouted. Her mother Mira asked her to calm down. This is your wedding day, Mira said. Do not fill it with insults. Zuri lifted her chin. Today, everyone must obey me. I am the chief's daughter and I am marrying a wealthy man. Servants do not deserve my respect. Mira looked at her daughter with disappointment, but said nothing more. Kofi called one of the servants and asked whether Amara had spoken to anyone. When he learned that she had left quietly, he felt relieved. He believed she lacked the courage to oppose him. Kofi had told Zuri that he was a widower whose first wife had died from illness. He had also told Chief Bako that he owned land, cattle, and trading stores in the north. In truth, most of his wealth came from Amara's work. Her makeup business and scented oil trade had supported their home for years. Kofi planned to receive cattle, money, and land from Zuri's family. After the wedding, he intended to disappear into the city before either woman discovered the full truth. A young servant girl named Sana found a small mirror that had fallen from Amara's makeup box. She ran outside to return it but saw Amara speaking with grandmother Nala. Sana overheard that the groom was Amara's husband. She was shocked. Kofi had told everyone that his first wife was dead. Sana wanted to warn Zuri, but she feared losing her job. Instead, she went to Mira, the bride's mother, and told her what she had heard. Mira did not believe everything immediately, but she remembered that Kofi had never allowed anyone to visit his supposed northern village. Suspicion entered her heart. A closed basket may hide food, she thought, but sooner or later the smell escapes. Mira privately called Kofi aside. What was your first wife's name? She asked. Kofi hesitated. Abina, he replied. When did she die? 3 years ago. Why has no one from your family come to this wedding? Kofi claimed that floods had blocked the road. His answers sounded possible, but he refused to look Mira in the eyes. She remembered an old saying, The mouth can weave a mat of lies, but the eyes cannot hide beneath it. Mira decided not to confront him yet. Instead, she watched him carefully and sent a trusted servant to learn whether any traveler from the north had heard of a wealthy merchant named Kofi. And four young men walked to the storehouse where the ancestors' drum had been locked away. A new iron chain secured the door. No one has the right to imprison the sacred drum in order to protect a lie, Baba Oke said. He raised his old baobab staff and struck the lock 3 times. The chain broke. Inside stood the enormous drum, covered with black cowhide and wrapped in red cords. The young men placed it on a wooden cart. As they pushed it toward the wedding square, villagers began following them. Everyone knew that the ancestors' drum appeared only when an important oath had to be tested. Whispers spread faster than wind through dry grass. In the village square, dancers wearing bright feathers moved around the ceremonial fire. Small drums played joyful rhythms while guests sat beneath acacia trees. Kofi appeared in his white wedding robe, smiling at everyone. He looked like a respectable man, but fear was growing inside him. Zuri emerged from the house surrounded by bridesmaids. Although her new makeup looked unnatural, she walked proudly beneath her golden veil. She did not know that Amara stood at the edge of the crowd, wearing plain brown cloth and holding proof of the marriage Kofi wanted to erase. The wedding announcer lifted his staff and prepared to begin. Then the sound of wooden wheels entered the square. Everyone turned. Baba Oke pushed the drum into the center of the gathering. The wedding organizer rushed forward. The bride requested a modern ceremony, he protested. The old drum is unnecessary. Chief Bako stood. Why should the sacred tradition of our village be forbidden? He asked. Baba Oke pointed toward Kofi. A man with a clean heart does not fear the drum. Only one who hides a shadow beneath a white robe wishes to keep it locked away. Kofi forced himself to laugh. This is an old superstition, he said. The guests began whispering. Chief Bako ordered the drum placed before the groom. No honest man should fear an oath, the chief declared. Let the ceremony continue according to the law of Oluma. Kofi looked around. Refusing would make everyone suspicious. I have nothing to hide, he said. Baba Oke placed Kofi's hand upon the drum. Repeat after me, he instructed. I have no living wife beneath this sky. I have broken no marriage oath, and I have taken no woman's property as my own. Kofi repeated the words, although his voice trembled. Baba Oke lifted the drumstick. The dancers stopped moving. The children became silent. Even the birds in the nearby trees seemed to wait. Baba Oke struck the drum once. No sound came. He struck it again. The drum remained silent. Baba Oke struck the drum a third time with all his strength. Still, it made no sound. A cold wind crossed the square, and the ceremonial flames shook. The groom has sworn falsely, someone whispered. Kofi shouted that the drum was broken. Baba Oke called the young boy from the crowd. Speak one simple truth, he instructed. The boy placed his hand on the drum. My mother cooked millet this morning, he said. Baba Oke struck the drum. A deep sound rolled across the village like thunder. The guests gasped. The drum was not broken. Kofi's oath was false. Chief Bako turned toward him. What truth are you hiding beneath your wedding robe? Zuri recognized her immediately. You again! She shouted. Have you come to destroy my wedding? Amara did not answer the insult. She looked directly at Kofi. Will you tell them? She asked. Or must I? Kofi raised his voice. I do not know this woman. Amara removed a ring from a small cloth pouch. Inside it was the symbol of Kofi's family. My name is Amara, she announced. I'm the lawful wife of the man standing here as a groom. The crowd erupted in shock. Kofi shook his head and called her a liar. Amara remained calm. A river does not become dirty because a frightened man calls it mud. Zuri refused to believe Amara. She laughed loudly. This poor woman only wants money from a wealthy man, she said. Look at her clothing. A man like Kofi could never marry someone whose hands smell of powder and work. Amara faced her. My hands carry powder because they work to feed a family. Your mouth carries cruelty because no one taught you that respect is more beautiful than gold. The laughter around Zuri stopped. Several servants lowered their heads, remembering how she had treated them. Kofi continued denying everything. She is only a woman I once knew, he said. Amara looked toward the crowd. Then let those who knew our home come forward. Our house has many eyes, even when the husband believes the walls are silent. Grandmother, Nala entered the square carrying an old ceremonial cloth marked with two handprints. This is the marriage cloth of Kofi and Amara, she said. I tied their hands together 5 years ago. An elderly couple stepped forward and confirmed that they had attended the ceremony. 3 neighbors also came forward. They testified that Kofi had lived in Amara's house, eaten the food she cooked, and used the money she earned. Kofi began sweating. These people have been paid, he shouted. Grandmother Nala shook her head. A person who has built his house from lies believes every honest person can also be bought. The villagers grew angry. Chief Bako ordered everyone to remain calm while the evidence was examined. Amara produced a business record book. It contained payments from her makeup and scented oil business. Beside many withdrawals was Kofi's thumbprint. Chief Bako compared those prints with the one on Kofi's new marriage agreement. They matched. Mira, Zuri's mother, stepped forward. You claim to be a wealthy merchant, she said. Why did you survive on your wife's earnings? Kofi could not answer. The crowd realized that he had not only betrayed Amara, he had also lied to Zuri's family in order to receive cattle, land, and money. What you called wealth was another woman's labor, Mira said. You wore her sacrifice like a royal robe and came here pretending it belonged to you. Zuri looked at Kofi, waiting for him to explain. Is she truly your wife? She asked. Kofi replied that Amara was only a former companion. At that moment, Sana, the servant girl, stepped forward carrying the small mirror. On the back were engraved the words, To Amara, the only wife of my life, from Kofi. Kofi had given it to Amara on their anniversary. Zuri read the inscription. Her hands began shaking. For the first time, her pride gave way to fear. She remembered every cruel word she had spoken to Amara. She had believed she was humiliating a servant. Now she understood that she had been insulting the innocent wife of the man she intended to marry. Order the guards to surround Kofi. You lied about your marriage, he said. You lied about your wealth, your land, and your cattle. You intended to steal from my family. Then he turned toward Zuri. Why did you insult this woman before knowing who she was? Zuri replied, I believed she was only a servant. Chief Beko's face hardened. A person does not need to be the chief's daughter to deserve respect. Your true character is revealed by how you treat those you believe are beneath you. Zuri lowered her head. The chief had been angered by Kofi's deception, but he was equally ashamed of his daughter's cruelty. A beautiful garment cannot hide an ugly heart forever, he said. As the guards approached, Kofi shoved the wedding organizer aside and ran. He pushed through the dancers, knocked over food trays, and shattered several water pots. Behind the house, he jumped onto a horse and rode toward the sacred forest. He believed he could cross the river and disappear into the city. Young men mounted horses and chased him. Baba Oke did not move. A man may run faster than the villagers, he said, but he cannot outrun the consequences of his own footsteps. The guests waited anxiously in the square. Amara stood silently. She felt no joy in seeing Kofi flee. She only felt the sadness of discovering how far a person could fall while trying to protect a lie. Kofi reached an old wooden bridge over the river. As the horse crossed, one of the ropes holding the bridge together snapped. The horse reared in fear, throwing Kofi into the mud beside the river. He was not badly injured, but his white wedding robe became black with dirt. Before he could escape, the young men arrived and captured him. One of them laughed bitterly. "You came seeking gold," he said, "but your lies have dressed you in mud." They tied Kofi's hands and brought him back to the village square. When the villagers saw him, no one laughed. His dirty robe had become a symbol of the truth. A clean appearance means nothing when the heart beneath it is corrupt. Zuri sat alone and removed the golden veil from her head. She stared into Amara's small mirror. Her heavy makeup was running with her tears. She remembered every insult she had spoken. She had believed wealth, beauty, and family position made her more valuable than other people. Now the woman she had mocked stood with dignity, while the man she had praised as honorable was dragged through the village covered in mud. Zuri understood that makeup could decorate a face, but could not hide arrogance. Gold could decorate a head, but could not give wisdom. She whispered to herself, "The mirror showed me the face I wanted to see. Today, truth has shown me the person I truly became." 7 elders sat beneath the great acacia tree. Kofi stood before them. He claimed that Amara had not been a good wife, and therefore he had the right to marry someone else. One elder asked, "If the marriage was unhappy, why did you not end it according to the law before seeking another woman?" Kofi had no answer. Another elder said, "A man who wishes to leave a house may walk through the door. You chose to dig beneath the wall because you wanted to steal from both houses." Kofi was charged with breaking a marriage oath, committing fraud, stealing from his wife, and attempting to deceive the chief's family. The elders prepared their judgment. Amara proved that the house Kofi claimed as his own had been purchased with her business earnings. The cattle he promised to Zuri's family belonged to Amara's brother and had only been placed under Kofi's care. Even his white wedding robe had been bought with money stolen from Amara's savings box. Chief Bako ordered every gift and payment returned. The elders ruled that Kofi must repay Amara fully. He would also perform 3 years of community labor to repair the harm he had caused. "You wanted the rewards of 2 marriages without carrying the responsibility of one," an elder told him. "From this day, you will carry the weight of your own actions." Kofi lowered his head. The elders asked Amara whether she wished to accept Kofi again as her husband. Some villagers believed she might still love him after 5 years of marriage. Kofi knelt and begged her for forgiveness. Amara looked at him calmly. "Forgiveness may remove the burden from my heart," she said, "but it does not require me to reopen my door to the person who wounded me." The square became silent. "I may choose not to hate you," she continued, "but I will never again place my life in your hands." The elders respected her decision and ended the marriage according to village law. Amara returned the ring. She kept her dignity, her freedom, and the life she would rebuild. Zuri approached Amara with her head lowered. Earlier, she had stood with her chin raised like a queen. Now she could barely meet Amara's eyes. "I did not know Kofi was married," she said, "but my ignorance does not excuse the way I treated you." She apologized for throwing Amara's tools, insulting her work, and treating her like someone without value. Amara listened. Do not apologize only because you now know I was Kofi's wife, she said. Apologize because every human being deserves respect, whether she is a wife, a servant, a farmer, or a stranger. Zuri began crying. For the first time, her tears did not come from humiliation, they came from genuine shame. Zuri realized that a private apology was not enough because the insult had been public. She climbed onto the wedding platform and asked the drummers to stop. This wedding is cancelled, she announced. She admitted that Kofi was not the only person at fault. I allowed my family name and my appearance to make me proud, she said. I treated workers as if they were less human than I am. She apologized publicly to Amara, Leila, Sana, and every servant she had mistreated. The villagers did not cheer immediately. True change could not be proven by one speech. However, many saw sincerity in her face. Chief Bako said, an apology is a seed. Only future actions will show whether it grows. Chief Bako decided that the prepared food should not be wasted. He invited everyone to eat together, but he refused to call it a wedding feast. This will be remembered as the day of truth, he said. Servants were invited to sit at the tables as guests. Zuri served food with her own hands, learning that service was not shameful. Amara sat beside her elderly mother and grandmother Nala. Her heart still hurt, but a heavy burden had lifted from her shoulders. For years she had feared Kofi's threats and lies. Now the entire village knew the truth. For the first time in a long while, she felt that her future belonged to her. The drums played softly as evening approached. After the judgment, Amara received her home, property, and business money back. Chief Bako offered her a place in the village market where she could open a makeup shop and train poor young women. Amara named the shop The True Face. There she taught more than makeup. She taught her students that beauty should never be used to make others feel small. Leila and Sana became her first apprentices. A brush can brighten the eyes, Amara told them, but respect brightens the whole person. Powder can cover a mark on the skin, but only kindness can heal a wound in the heart. Soon, women from many villages came to learn from her. Her reputation grew beyond Oluma. For several months, Zuri stopped wearing heavy gold and began working at the community house. She helped widows sew clothing, taught children to read, and carried water for the elderly. At first, villagers believed she was only trying to restore her reputation, but she continued even when no one praised her. One day, Zuri visited Amara's shop and asked to learn makeup. Why does the chief's daughter want to do work she once despised? Amara asked. Zuri answered, I want the hands that once pointed at others to learn how to serve them. Amara agreed to teach her. She did not forget what had happened, but she allowed Zuri the opportunity to prove that repentance can become action. Kofi performed community labor under the elders' supervision. The man who once wore expensive robes now plowed fields, carried water, repaired roads, and cleaned animal shelters. At first, he blamed Amara, Zuri, the chief, and the villagers. No one accepted his excuses. Baba Oke told him, true regret does not begin with the words, look what others did to me. It begins with the question, what have I done? After many months, Kofi became quieter. He stopped asking Amara to take him back. He finally understood that forgiveness did not erase consequences. The suffering he faced was not a curse placed upon him by others. It was the harvest of seeds he had planted himself. Amara placed Kofi's small mirror at the entrance of the true face. She removed the old inscription and replaced it with new words. Look into your heart before judging another person's face. Every bride who entered the shop had to read the message before sitting down. Imara also established a rule. Anyone who insulted an employee would be asked to leave, whether she was wealthy, royal, or powerful. The shop became famous. Women did not come only because Amara created beautiful makeup. They came because everyone inside the shop was treated with dignity. Amara's greatest gift was not powder, color, or perfume. It was the feeling that every woman who entered had value. 1 year later, 1 year later, Amara was invited to prepare a young bride named Naomi. Naomi was nervous. Please make me look perfect, she said. Amara smiled. I will make your face shine, but you must make this day shine through your character. Zuri, now working as Amara's assistant, arranged the tools and served water respectfully. When a brush fell, Naomi picked it up herself instead of ordering a servant to do it. Amara and Zuri exchanged a smile. The pain of the past had become a lesson protecting others from the same cruelty. Outside, the drums began to play. Naomi thanked every person who had helped her. She entered her wedding not only beautifully dressed, but also with a humble heart. That evening, Baba Oke brought the ancestors' drum before the new couple. The groom placed his hand on it and swore that he had no other wife and would never use love as a weapon of deception. Baba Oke struck the drum. A deep, clear sound rolled across the village. The people celebrated. Amara stood beneath an acacia tree, watching the sun disappear beyond the grasslands. Grandmother Nala joined her. The day you believed your life had broken, the old woman said, was the day you began finding yourself again. Amara smiled. The truth did not save my marriage, she replied, but it saved my life. In the distance, the drum of truth sounded once more. Moral lesson? No one can build true happiness upon another person's tears. A lie may wear beautiful clothes, speak sweet words, and smile before a crowd, but one day the truth will remove its veil. Never look down on people because of their occupation, clothing, poverty, or social position. A person's true value is found in honesty, kindness, courage, and the way they treat others. Forgiveness does not mean allowing someone who harmed you to return and repeat the same harm. It is possible to release a trait while still protecting your dignity and maintaining healthy boundaries. Repentance must also be shown to actions, not words alone. Final proverb. Powder may hide a mark upon the face, but it cannot hide betrayal within the heart.